All right, so this is the NYO pitching clinic. We're teaching coaches from AA right now. We'll be doing International League in a little bit. And this is our 5-step method to teaching pitching. So, all right guys, so as we talked about already today, the way I like to run this clinic is to treat you guys as if you were 9 years old. Some of you that may actually be a little bit of an improvement. Anyway, so I'm going to run this like I would with the kids. Typically, the way I would do this at a practice is if we've got, let's say, 10 kids on a team who want to pitch at this age, I'd like to, as we said, I'd like to try to get all 10 an opportunity if they're willing to work hard. If they're willing to work hard, not just because they raise their hand, they say they want to pitch, but if they want to work and they're ready to do it, great, we'll give them the opportunity. If we have 10 kids, let's say, then I'd break this into 2 groups. And because if you have 10 at once, it's a little too big. So we'd have 2 groups. I invite the parents, obviously typically it's the fathers who come out there with them, but I invite them to come to the clinic with me because I want them to hear exactly what I'm talking to with their kids about, so that if they're going to work on anything at home, they've heard it from me, so that it all makes sense, and so that they can help catch. So it's kind of all wrapped up in one. So anyway, we start off and I just, I say, who wants to pitch? Everybody raise their hand, they're real excited about pitching because they've been hearing about this forever. Okay? And I explain to them, pitching to me is the most fun thing you can do out here on the baseball field. There's nothing like being that guy in the last inning, game's on the line, tying run on third, you're the pitcher, and you get a chance to strike that batter out. It's awesome. There's no better feeling than when you actually do that. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you are willing to work harder than anybody else on your team to get there. And that's what it's going to take. So if you guys want to pitch and you're willing to do that, we can turn you into good pitchers. But you've got to commit. All right? We won't give you a lot of homework. We will actually tell you we don't want you to pitch at home because you'll be doing enough in practice. We have enough practices during the week, and your coaches will schedule things appropriately so that you're really throwing about twice a week at practice, and you really shouldn't be throwing any more than that at home. Give you a couple little drills you can do at home, but it's not going to be full pitching because we want to monitor every pitch that you throw, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of your arm. So that's how it works. Now, raise your hand if you can count to 5. Okay, good. If you can count to 5, you can pitch. All right, and this is exactly how I do it with the kids. All right, count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, we go around. I want every kid to do it. Every one of these things, every time I do this, I want every kid to do it, just for the sheer fact of they're engaged, they're into it. And I can usually tell at this point who really wants to pitch. All right, we're a minute into this, and the kids who are looking out in the clouds and looking behind me, those kids aren't going to work hard enough to ever throw strikes in a game. Okay? I can tell that already at this point. You'll be able to as well. But I want everyone to count to 5. And I say, okay, great. You can count to 5. I can teach you how to pitch. Okay? And here's how. I'm going to show you. All right, so I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through a little quick first time, and then we're going to break it down. Okay? But it's 5 steps. Now, the first thing I do when I get out onto the mound with a kid is, I'm going to show you left-handed again just because of the sun, but is I'll draw a line just a little. If it's a right-hander, a little towards this side of the rubber. If it's a left-hander, a little towards this side. And I just draw a straight line with my foot right to home plate, okay? I'm very big on visuals. I think kid having a visual, seeing that straight line, is going to do a lot of things for that kid. So start off with that, okay? So here are the steps in our 5-step pitching motion, okay? All right, before we start, my feet are a little more than shoulder width apart, okay? I'm in a relaxed position. I'm looking into the catcher. I don't really like this position. I don't really like a whole lot of extra motion because everything that I do, and you'll see this as we go, I'm trying to cut out any extra motion. Any extra motion to me is just more opportunity to make mistakes. Okay? Keep it simple, keep it compact. All right? So another thing that I think is important to note is I only teach out of the stretch for this age. Reason why is because to throw a strike again, you've got to get to this position right here. Okay? All right? Let's count how many steps it takes to get there. All right? If you're out of the stretch, 1, 2, 3, right? If you're going out of the windup, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? I'd rather count to 3 than 4. It's that simple, all right? Plus, you saw my body moving around a lot more when I was out of the windup, okay? Let's break it down. Let's keep it simple. No reason to make it any more complicated, all right? So, comfortable position, looking in, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's it. Now we'll break them down one at a time. All right, again, apologize, my balance is a little off after surgery, but before I start, feet a little more than shoulder width apart, slight bend at the knees, slight bend at the waist. I'm looking in at the catcher, okay? All right, step one. All right, what'd you see? Anybody? Tell me something you saw. Okay, feet together, took a pause. Okay, excellent. All right, step one. Here you go. Feet, okay? I get them now a little less than shoulder width apart. I don't like them to touch, but I don't like them to be wide out here. The reason why is because the next step I'm going here. Look how much my body sways the farther apart my leg is. Now if I'm here and I go straight up, look at my body. It's not really moving, all right? The less motion, the better, okay? So step one, feet, okay? Bend, all right? A little bend at the knees, bend at the waist, all right? Some pitching coaches teach to come straight up right here. All right, I'm gonna show you why I don't like that. Everybody stand up, okay? I want you to stand up and I want you to stand as tall and straight as you can. Lock your legs in, okay? All right, okay, everybody got that? Good. Okay, now stand the exact same way with your feet. Bend slightly at the knees, bend slightly at the waist where you feel your weight shift to the balls of your feet, okay? Okay, which position were you stronger? Second. Which were you most balanced? Second, okay? Strength and balance. Sounds like, I don't know, gladiator or something, but that's what we're looking for, strength and balance right there, okay? So that's why I liked slight bend at the knees, slight bend at the waist, all right? And then, so I brought my hands in. I like to bring them right about here, okay? Something that's comfortable, all right? I'm gonna turn this way so you can see it. If my hands are close in, everything's bent a little bit, feels comfortable, I can relax, okay? Further I get my glove hand out and the ball hand, my muscles start to tense up a little bit, all right? So that's what we don't want. So some kids like to do this out here, but if you start out here, you kind of stay out here. If you start here, you can stay in where you want to stay in with your arms. So I like to just find a comfortable spot right here. I don't like to go down to the waist, okay? Again, back to this wasted motion idea. If I come set here, I've got to go up and then down again. I don't like to do that. I'd rather just start here and go, less motion, okay? So, and then the last piece of that, and this is the most important, to me, this is the most important part of the entire motion, and it's often overlooked, okay? Feet, bend, breathe, okay? That deep breath right there takes everything that's going on, parents screaming, coaches yelling, other teams yelling, and blocks it all out. And I'm focused solely on one thing, and that's the catcher's mitt, all right? So if you watch kids pitch, if you watch kids really do anything, all right, the number one reason they're not consistent is because they're starting from a different place. Okay? If you start from a different place, from one motion to the next, one swing to the next, one anything to the next, you can't finish in the same place. But if you start at the same place, you've improved your odds tremendously. So that's what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to get to this position. All right, now I'm in a good position. If I do this every time, now I'm halfway there already, okay? So that's step one. Feet, bend, breathe, okay? I want this part sticking out a little bit over my feet, okay? Not looking straight up at the sky or even straight ahead. I want it down a little bit, okay? So that's one, okay? Step two. All right, what'd you see? Anybody? Brought my knee up, okay? Now, step two is more important for what you don't see, okay? All right, step two, legs straight up, okay? All right, what you don't see is this, okay? You didn't see me rock backwards. That, I promise you, if you do step one right, 75% of kids are gonna do step two like this, okay? Now, all that hard work we did to be balanced and be in the power position on step one, we just threw it all away, okay? So step two is just as important for what you don't do as what you do, okay? Step two really should look like nothing on your body is moving except that knee and that leg, all right? So one, feet, bend, breathe. Two, legs straight up, all right? Now, balance is critical for any kind of pitcher, all right? The younger they are, the harder this is because they don't have the body control. But this is the one thing I told you there'd be a little bit of homework. It wouldn't be throwing. This is the first homework, okay? Kids need to learn to be able to do this, all right, to where they're slightly bent at the knees, slightly bent at the waist. They're not back like this, and to get their knee up, you know, about to their waist. Okay, so you can put a book or a plate or something here. Okay, they need to learn how to do this. It's pretty simple. If you ask the kids to go home and brush their teeth, which may be a chore in itself, but if you ask them to go home, brush their teeth, and when they do it, morning and night, do it like this. Okay, promise you, by the next practice, you will know who really wants to be a pitcher, because that kid's going to come running up to you, say, coach, watch this, I practiced this. Okay, if they can get to that balance point, they're ahead. All right, and not just are they ahead physically with the motion, but that shows you this kid really does want to actually try this and make a go at it. So there you go. All right, so 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. Okay, step 3. All right, what'd you see? Anybody? Okay, yep. Okay, that same throwing position I talked about before. All right, you're getting to this spot right here. Okay, an L right here, 90 degrees, elbow pointed to the catcher. Other arm, another L, okay, and it's pointed right back at the center fielder, and I'm pointing the ball towards the center fielder. All right, I'm not pointing it towards home plate, because if I do, I'm just shot putting it up there. All right, I'm back here so I can really get some pop on my throw. Okay, now common mistakes that are made here. Okay, one, I'll turn this way so you can see it. One is people come way back here. Okay, so they're taking the ball out, instead of going to the center fielder, they're taking the ball out towards the third baseman. When they do that, yeah, guess what my front arm's doing? Now it's pointing over there. And in order to throw a strike, I've got to get everything reoriented back to home plate when I really can't even see it. And the odds of a strike being thrown at that point, very small. The harder a kid throws, the more they tend to do this. Okay, you've got to rein that in and get them coming here. Okay, another thing that people do is they go from here straight up here, short arm it, all right? Because it's safe, it feels good. It feels like if I do it here, all right, I've cut out a lot of the variable, okay, but you've also cut out a lot of the arm action, a lot of the power that you get behind it. So the right answer is sort of in between. Okay? You're not going a huge arm circle to here, okay? You never want your elbow to lock as you're going back, okay? Because then it just doesn't feel good, and you're gonna get some arm problems. You want that whip. That whip comes from bending and whipping through, all right? So you want to get it right here, just nice and comfortable, where on the next step they can just rotate through, all right? Now, as we talked about before, the way you improve this part right here is not really on the mound. The way you improve that is in practice when they're just throwing and catching beforehand. If a kid, when he throws and catches, picks up the ball and does this and goes way back and throws, when he gets on the mound, guess what he's going to do? Exact same thing. All right, but if you teach a kid, like I said, I call it just pop. When they catch the ball, pop, throw. All right, catch it back, pop, throw. All right, you see my arm motion? It's somewhere between this and this. Okay, between this and this, it's just sort of right there. My elbow really is what I'm trying to keep somewhat still. All right, so I take it out, my elbow, it moves, it has to move a little bit, but it's not going way down here. And it's not going way up here. It's just sort of right there, okay? So I can get to my 2 L's with this arm parallel to the ground, this part of my arm parallel to the ground as well, all right? Should all look like it's just working together in motion, all right? So, 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point my elbows, okay? All right, so I'm right here. 4, I push off right down that line, okay, and release. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on step 4 because it just happens. If you do everything else right, step 4 really should just sort of flow. All right, now I've got that line that I drew from before that's got that visual with it, and what that line's doing, if I keep everything on this line, okay, step 1, I start with my toes on the line. I mean, before step 1. Step 1, then I get to my toes are still on the line. They're not crossed here, they're not out here, still on the line, okay? Kick up, still on that line. Get my elbows, still on that line. Step 4, I throw down that line. Where do you think the ball's going? It's going right down that line, all right? 9 times out of 10, it will, okay? So 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point my elbows. 4, push off down the line, release. And then 5, follow all the way through, okay? All right, 5, when you finish, you ought to be right here, okay? These kids don't have giant bodies. They're not getting a whole lot of force going to home plate. They may have to exaggerate this a little bit, but you need them to finish with this hand scraping the ground almost, all right? Greg Maddux, my favorite player of all time. Reason he won 17 gold gloves or whatever it was in a row is because the position he finished in every time was this right here, ready to field. Finish in a good fielding position, you're gonna be a good fielder, right? If you finish and your body's going this way and you finish like this, you're gonna have a hard time fielding the ball. And if you do field it, you're gonna have a hard time making a throw. So that's it. All right, so one last time, then we're gonna get out on the line and throw a little bit. All right, draw this line again. Okay? Step one. All right, before step one, I'm here, I'm relaxed. I think in this league, the rubber will actually be up a little bit, if I recall. I may not, but if it is, you won't have this steep hill to deal with. But 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point my elbows. 4, push off, release. 5, follow through, okay? Now here's the rhythm that it's gonna go in, okay? Because this is where we get into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 part, all right? As I've shown you now, I've broken down each one of the 5 steps, all right? It's a lot, you know, we're taking one step at a time. You'll see very quickly how that a lot turns into a little, because it's really kind of common sense stuff most of the way. Few checkpoints on each step. But by the end of this practice, you'll have all 5 of those steps down, okay? So will the kids. Even 9-year-olds, they'll get this. And then, like I said, you'll do it the first practice, you'll do it just like I'm doing it if you want to, and it'll take about 30 or 40 minutes. And you know, the next practice, what you'll ask them to do is practice the balance and then practice these 5 steps, okay? With a tennis ball, they don't even have to throw, all right? But they practice those 5 steps, they come back next time to you, this stuff is now starting to become habit. Second practice, second time you see them and you're ready to work on pitching again, you go through these 5 steps, but you do it in about 5 minutes. Instead of going through the whole clinic again, you give them 5 minutes of this. Then you get them to play catch again a little bit like we'll do, and then you get them in the bullpen and maybe throw 5 to 10 pitches that first day, but counting every single time. That is a key piece of this whole thing. If you ever see me coach an upper league game, you will hear me count to 5 dozens of times during the course of the game. Might be in between innings when the pitcher's warming up, might be in the bullpen, it might even be in the middle of the game when the kid's struggling. Or I may go out to the mound to visit, and like I said, after I tell a joke to kind of diffuse the tension a little bit, then I'm gonna tell them, hey, count to 5, count your steps, okay? All right, and I like it sometimes when I see the kids and their mouths are moving a little bit, like 1, 2, 3, 4, as they're pitching, because what it's doing is it's getting them to focus on something they know, counting to 5, instead of focusing on, is my arm here, is my weight here, is my, you know, am I shifting this way or that way? That's what we're trying to do, is get them to count to 5, but these steps become habit, and then they don't have to think about it anymore. That's ultimately the overall goal here, okay? So, so that's, like I said, the 2 homework pieces are this, brushing your teeth, and 10 times a day, it's all you need to do. It'll take you 3 minutes. Literally go through the steps, all right? And I mean, you being the kid, go through the steps and just count it out, all right? Now here's the rhythm, all right? I'm not gonna do it on the mound right now because it's steep and I can't balance on it, but, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? I'm gonna show you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? That's the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like a golf swing, right? A lot of kids, when they're pitching, they're here, 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 and they're just going as fast as they can. And what you're trying to get them to understand is there's a nice slow backswing to this, and then there's a violent actual swing, okay? In golf, you go back like this and like this, ball's not going where you want it to, right? Here you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. That's the same, that's the equivalent right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? That's it. So, any questions? Anybody use this to any success in the fall? Any kids start to pick up on it? Any coaches start to pick on it? Good, thank you, I'll give you 20 bucks afterwards. All right, good. So now we're gonna line up in 2 groups. Partner up with somebody. I've got balls, so don't start throwing yet. And like I said, we'll just treat this like you're 9, and we'll work through it. All right. I'm gonna count 1 step at a time. If you need a ball, I've got some. you. Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, so spread out all the way down. All right, so when we do this, this doesn't need to be from a great distance. It doesn't need to be from any farther than this, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do, let's start all the balls on that side. All right, and I'm gonna count it one step at a time. We're gonna go very slow the first several times, and we'll start to pick up a little speed with it, okay? Now, what we always tell the kids and the parents is this. One, for today and the next couple of practices, I don't care how hard you throw it at all. Okay, like I said, eventually once they get comfortable, I do want them to learn to throw as hard as they can every single pitch, because I don't want them to overthrow, but I want them to throw to the maximum level they can, because to me that's the only thing that's repeatable. But the first couple times, we're just trying to get the motion, trying to ingrain the motion in them. So, so what we'll do, like I said, I'll call it out one step at a time. Now, what inevitably will happen is there'll be dads on the other side who will get down right there, like Tom did, exactly. Okay, you don't want the parents to do that. Okay, that's like pulling out a radar gun. No need for it. Only bad things happen, okay? You want the coach to stand up and just give him a nice big target at his chest, because we're not pitching yet. We're going through the motion, but we're certainly not pitching, okay? So, all right, so let's use, you guys on this side, let's use this as the pitching rubber, okay? And I'm gonna count out the steps. Before we start, remember, feet spread a little more than shoulder width apart, okay? You wanna get in a nice comfortable position, slight knee bend, slight bend at the waist. More than anything else, you want to be relaxed, okay? All right, so now here we go. Step one, feet, bend, breathe, and hold it, okay? Go ahead, do step one. Feet, bend, breathe, okay? And hold it. I want you to hold it, all right? A little more bend. There you go, good, good, good. All right, remember, glove kind of up around your chest to where your arms are comfortable, all right? They're not straining, they're comfortable. Good. Good. And a little more bend. There you go. Knees and waist. Good. All right, a little more bend. There you go. Good. All right. Excellent. Now, what a lot of people started to do was bounce a little bit. All right. They started to, when you come set, and the kids will do this too. They'll come set and then they'll bounce. You don't want to bounce, because every time you bounce, that target's moving up and down with you. All right. So just come set and hold it. All right. Let's start over. Okay. 1, feet, bend, breathe. Good. 2, legs straight up. I love this part because we like to see who has any balance at all. All right, good. Okay, now when you did that, make sure you don't all of a sudden start leaning back, okay, because that's the pitfall of step 2. All right, excellent balance. All right, let's do it again. Start over. 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point your elbows and hold it. Okay, good. There you go. There you go. All right, get your front elbow out a little bit. Now make sure with your glove hand that you're making an L. You're not pulling the glove into your chest. You're making an L, okay? All right, good. Right there. There you go. All right, okay, start over. Okay, step 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point your elbows. 4, push off, release. 5, exaggerate the follow through a little bit. All right, good. Now you guys on the other side, same opportunity. We're gonna take it slow. Ready? 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we start, get in a comfortable position. Look in at your target. Okay, good. All right, 1, feet, bend, breathe. No bouncing. All right, hold it. A little more bend. This is the part nobody ever wants to bend enough, especially 40-year-olds. Bring your feet in a little more. Bring your feet in a little more, Asher. All right, good. Okay, all right, start over. Let's do it again. Step 1, feet, bend, breathe, bend, really bend. Bend more than you think you need to. All right, don't bounce. All right, step 2, legs straight up. Keep that bend. Okay, a few people are leaning back as they came up. Let's start over. All right, this is really how I do it. I'm not trying to just annoy coaches, but this is how I do it with the kids because it's the only way to get it ingrained. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point your elbows. Okay, make those L's. Good, good, good. Show the ball to the center fielder. Good. All right, 4, push off, release. 5, follow through. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Let's bring it back. 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point your elbows. 4, push off, release. 5, follow through. Good. All right, let's bring it back. 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point your elbows. 4, push off, release. 5, follow through. Good. All right, let's do it again. 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point your elbows. 4, push off, release. 5, follow through. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, make sure you bend. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hearing some gloves pop now. It's better than hearing the grass bend. All right, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you look into the catcher the whole time, all right? Because a lot of kids will start looking at first base or third base or anywhere but the catcher. They got to focus on the mitt. All right, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your elbow up a little bit. All right. That's a common mistake that kids will make. Is they'll come here and they'll get their elbow down here. You want elbows up at the same height as their shoulder. You want everything just to be a nice flat line. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, everybody come in right here. All right, so that's it. So hopefully what you just noticed there was the first 3 or 4 pitches everybody threw, they were kind of in this circle somewhere, okay? The next couple were a little more in this circle, and by the end, kind of hitting some gloves, all right? If we can do that amongst 30-year-olds, then really, I mean, you know, some of us are in great shape, some of us are not. But if we can do that as a group, this is exactly what happens with the 9-year-olds. They'll start off when you do this, they'll be all over the place. But this is also why we like to have dads catching instead of kids playing catch with each other, because we want them to get that confidence. Dad hopefully will catch this and that. But they start off and they're all over. And then by the time you're done with this one session, I mean, you guys probably only threw the ball back and forth maybe 7 to 10 times each, okay? But by the end, you were really starting to hone in a little bit, all right? That's the improvement the kids will see at the end of this, just doing it one time. And then just to repeat, second time out, I just go through those steps on the mound with them just in less than 5 minutes probably. Just go through and show them each step one more time, right? Talk through it. And you saw kind of what I did there. I started off, and the first times, you know, the first 3 or 4 throws y'all made, I counted and I said it out loud every step. 1, feet, bend, breathe. 2, legs straight up. 3, point your elbows. 4, push off, release. 5, follow through, okay? And I called it every time. The second time you get out here, you'll need to do that again a little bit. And then you just take those, the words out and you just hit the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's ultimately what we're trying to get to right there. Yes?
Do you talk at all about, you know, back to just where to actually grip the baseball?
Okay.
So a lot of these kids, they'll just get it and rip it.
Right.
You know?
So, all right. So the question, that's a good question. It was asked a little bit earlier, but it's the right question. Okay. What kind of grip do you want? And as I say, at 9 years old, I really don't care what the grip is. I want them to just be comfortable with however many fingers they need to have on the ball, because their hand sizes vary so much. There's just not a one size fits all approach to it. But the key to me is to get the ball out in their fingertips. If they need 4 fingers on it, they need 4 fingers, but get it out in the fingertips. At this age, I think that's the most important thing to teach them, instead of back in the palm. You know, they get back in the palm and they throw it, they get more friction, they get, you know, there's more, you're basically throwing a changeup is what you're teaching them. And you get it out of their fingertips, I think that'll help them as they get older and their hands do get bigger. You know, then they can start to learn a two-seam, 4-seam, you know, but at this age, it's just pure comfort. You know, if the ball's slipping out, you may want to turn it in their hand a little bit so they get a few more stitches on it, but it's just pure comfort at this age. Any other questions?
In that drill we were just doing,
yes.
I'm trying to hit them in the chest?
The chest, yep, yes. Because the idea of this is, you know, we're not really throwing pitches, actual pitches, but it's just get the motion down, and, you know, we're not the right distance or anything else at that point. But that's a good question. Anything else? Any other questions? No? All right, so that's the story. Like I said, the written presentation piece of this with the pictures, you should get from your league director, and this should be posted somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. They don't burn it, but anyway, thanks for coming out here. Enjoyed having you guys. Thank you. Yeah.